What we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party.
Peace and love, party people. It's the BKMC, Talib Kweli. This is the world's best podcast, The People's Party. As always and as usual, I got my lovely and talented and thoughtful and thought-provoking co-host Jasmin Leigh in the place to be. What's up, Jasmin? How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm enjoying this outfit here.
Thank you.
Looks like you are ready for business.
I am. I'm ready for the business of rap.
That's right. It's sporty, it's comfortable, but it also looks professional.
Yes! I didn't just have you announce me down a runway.
We're going to have a good time tonight. Or today, or whatever time you're watching this particular show. Today's guest is from one of my favorite cities on the planet, the fabulous city of Chicago. This guest is immensely talented, Grammy-nominated singer, rapper, songwriter, actress. If you can name it, she can do it. She has given us all types of work. She's very prolific. Mixtapes from The Illustration to Business and Pleasure to Schizo, which had a feature from my good friend Common from the city of Chicago. She's given us over 10 amazing videos. She had remixed Nicki Minaj's Chiraq. That blew people's minds. Her intense flow on that one. She has a string of EPs. Like I said, she's prolific. She got No Hard Feelings, Big Dreezy, this year's Hit Girl with People's Party alum and friend of the show, Hit Boy. In addition to her music, she has acted as Queen Cabrini in Netflix Beats, which is an amazing film. We're going to talk about that. She has been called the Princess of Chicago Rap, but I feel like she's a lot more than a princess. She is a queen. She grows with each release, and I know we're going to hear a lot more greatness from this person coming. She has big energy, big personality, big confidence, big talent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the People's Party, the realest, the princess and the queen of Chicago rap, modern day Black Maryland, Dreezy S. Baby. It's Dreezy in the place to be on the People's Party. Let's go. What's up?
I love that intro.
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and sitting with us.
Yes. I'm honored to be here.
We have Dreezy in the house.
Yes, welcome.
We were talking about this for a minute. Thank you for coming out here. I wish my daughter Deani was here. My daughter Deani is an MC, and she works with the show sometimes, and I should send you her music.
Yeah, let me check it out.
But your real name, can you pronounce it for me?
Chandrea.
Chandrea Sledge.
Yes.
That sounds like a comic book character.
I've never heard that. That's the first, but yeah, I'm named after my dad. His name is Sean.
Okay.
And I guess my mom just had a thing for naming her daughters after the dad. It was my little sister named Stephanie and her dad named
Some
Stephen.
people like doing stuff like that.
My daughter's named after her father.
Yeah.
Her name's Marco. I didn't add any Anna to it. I should have.
Is his name Mark?
His name is Marcus.
Oh, okay, yeah. Same thing.
Now, how'd you get that name? Dreezy. How'd you get the name Dreezy?
Dreezy, well, my name's Chandrea, so when I was a kid, they used to call me Drea, Dre. Mm-hmm. When I started rapping and stuff, I really had a passion for just Wayne music.
Lil Wayne.
Wheezy. And
Wheezy,
so
yeah,
I just decided to change my nickname from Drea to Dreezy.
Shout out Lil Wayne. I hear that's one of your favorite
Shout out to Lil Wayne,
rappers.
yeah. And I just kind of stuck with it, and that's Big Dreez.
Yeah, he's very inspirational.
Yes, Libra gang gang. Shout out to Miss Ellis, your school teacher who taught you how to scat. And scatting is an art form that a lot of people don't talk about and definitely don't know how to do. Can you break down that form for the people?
Yeah, if you never heard of scatting before, it's from the genre of jazz. And I like to explain it speak when you're at church and you start talking tongues, you just feeling it, you just start talking a whole nother language. That's kind of what it is in jazz music. So it's I would scat, but I'm not gonna do it right now.
You're not gonna scat for us?
Nah, but
you're not feeling scatty.
Yeah, I used to look up to Ella Fitzgerald and the A Train. It got some good scatting on there. So if you look up A Train, you'll hear what scatting sounds like. I used to do it at the House of Blues when I was in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
You should bring it back in your set. That would kill him. You'd be like how Lizzo pull out the flute and shit.
I mean, that would just put you, make you even more original.
Yeah, I used to play the flute. I used to play the
Same.
saxophone.
You played
I used
a
to
bunch
play
of instruments, right?
Yeah, my teacher, Miss Ellis, she just had me in the band, period.
Yes.
So I was singing, I was playing the saxophone, I was doing the flute, I was doing a lot of instruments. Really, the piano was my favorite instrument. So right now, I'm picking up piano lessons again, and I'm just refreshing my memory so I could get on stage and start doing that again.
That's dope.
That's my goal.
That's
Yeah.
real dope.
Thank you.
You grew up off 81st.
Yep.
As you say in phases on your new album, Hit Girl. It's a
Yes.
great song.
Thank you.
Obviously, Chicago has a long, it's one of my favorite cities, has a long, storied history of gangsters and being associated with gangsters. And this also is used as it's not like other cities don't have this. Detroit has this. LA has this, New York has this, but Chicago, I feel like, is woven into the culture. Like when you go to the top of the Sears Tower, when I went up there, they have pictures of Dillinger and Capone. So I feel like it's kind of hypocritical when they put that gangster image on younger black people, as if the city ain't been that.
Yeah, I mean, in every hood is like that. Like in every state, you got a hood and you got the culture, and that's just what it is. It come with some negative stuff, but it's also like one of the most creative, I feel like, parts of the city. Like that's where magic happens. When you make something out of nothing, it's like you thinking of stuff that like people with the biggest budgets can't even come up with because it's just so authentic. Like, so I love Chicago. I love my city. I love everything about it. And I feel like me personally, like I got to see both sides of the scale because my pops, I mean, we grew up in the hood, but eventually my pops ended up getting him a house built in the burbs and just showing me a different light, helping me get my first passport. Just little things that he taught me, and I was able to just like, I feel like I was like a dreamer in the city. Like I wasn't really too gangster, too popular. I wasn't no lame, but I was really just seeing the bigger picture for everything. I saw both sides and I put it in my music.
With Chicago, like you said, it's often used as like a political football or code word for racists who want to try to dehumanize black people.
Yeah.
And say, well, what about Chicago? That's something that comes out of the mouths of racists all the time. And even with like the death tolls are not what they used to be a few years ago. But beyond that, crime and murder and things that happen between people happen because of proximity, not because of race. Like when you in white neighborhoods, it's mostly white people killing white people in white neighborhoods, and black neighborhoods, mostly black people. What do you think it is about Chicago that people try to make Chicago as sort of this boogeyman representation of what they feel like is wrong with black people?
Maybe because the culture, like most of the people that come up from the culture, that's like what they talking about, and so they just try to tag something on to what's going on. But I really feel like people need to, if anything, look at why are people like glorifying it or talking about it so much. Like what's the root of it, you know? Like we could always talk about the effect, but what's the cause, you know? And I think it's limited opportunity. Upbringing is different, you know, hurt people. If you're growing up under a household that's already going through something, like it could trickle down like to your kids and your grandkids. And I just feel like, you know, it's life. You can't really get around it. And some people, I don't know. I just feel like we need more opportunities and more examples. Like for like me, I feel like I give a lot of girls hope in my hood to even rap, and they don't gotta rap about one subject. Like it could be way more in depth. And we got a lot of conscious rap in Chicago. Like I feel like that's like the home of it. And New York, you know, but yeah, just setting more good examples and just giving more opportunities. Even me, like I could take I need to go back to my city and start doing more good stuff in my city. Because when you do make it out, like you one of the few people that could change it. Like it's not a lot of people that's like trying to reach back to the community. And even the people, the powers that be, they not really doing nothing. They just reporting stats.
Yeah, well, you said you don't know, but it sounds like you do know. It sounds like you know exactly what
Kinda. I need to sit and think for real about it. I ain't never really like sat and think like, dang, how could I change the city? But that's something that I do want to get into. I try to do little stuff. I did like a coat drive, and even through my music, I feel like my music touch a lot of people in different ways, and it ain't just
Absolutely.
negative.
Music is a great natural resource for people in our community, and it's great for self-care and for healing all this trauma that you talk about. People hear themselves in these songs, and it makes them feel better. It doesn't. You can't end what they're going through, but you can make it lighter on them.
Even with me, like the older I get, like I'm I'm starting to reverse a lot of the ways that I was raised. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I was raised by
I know what you mean.
My parents did a good job for me to even be able to realize this when I got older, but I often like come off aggressive and blunt, and like, you know, when I got in the real world, like it don't correlate to people like the same way. So I had to learn how to change certain things, even taking care of like certain things like my mental health. You never understand like why do I act like this? Why am I so snappy? Why am I like so on defense? And that's just how I was raised. Like I was raised to have tough skin and stand on business. You know what I'm saying? I still do. But I'm just learning different ways to communicate. And also everything don't need that energy. Like in Chicago, you taught to react. Like people can't try you a certain way. They can't talk to you a certain way. Like you gotta stand on it. And it's like, in the real world, it's like everything ain't that deep.
I was just having a conversation about this the other day, because not only is it good when you realize that, but as you realize that, you can realize that in your surroundings.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to a friend and they're coming off harsh, it's like, okay, I'm coming from love. Like, I'm trying to tell you something because I care about you. And it's easier to converse with people on the regular basis, because there's a lot of Black women that were raised to be harsh or raised to, you know, be independent, and you want to be soft and loving just like everybody else gets the opportunity.
Yeah, literally. And I'm dealing with that, like even with my friends. Like I'm trying to just teach them a different way of looking at life. Like it ain't bad. Like everything ain't bad. Like you taught to expect the worst. So when you expecting the worst out of life, you gonna react, you gonna live like that.
Exactly.
Like you gonna live in negativity and just walking around like that. And it's just like you could change people one at a time, but part of it, I think, is like therapy and just opening up to life, and just, you know, you got to see different things to learn that.
Right.
I agree.
And speaking of friends, I actually came across your music because we shared a makeup artist. Shout out to Tripoli.
Yeah, shout out to my girl.
Yes, whoever's makeup she's working on, whoever's team she's on, she's very adamant on telling other people. And I want to have you speak on what's the importance of having a great team backing you, especially the glam squad who doesn't get as much credit as they deserve.
Man, I feel like having a solid team that you trust, that's probably the best thing that you could do for your career. Even me right now, I'm just now learning how important it is to keep the same team, because I used to just replace people. Like, oh, I use you one day, then I use you one day, and then because it's just easier, I guess. Like I wasn't even thinking like, hold on, let me hold on to this person and we build together, because it's just more consistent and organic and all that. But you know, shout out to the glam squads that's holding it down. Like Tripoli, she a real one. So you just see the energy. Even with me in the room, I'm just comfortable with her doing my skin, comfortable talking to her. Like she kind of eased me into coming to the interview, and it's because we know each other and we built that relationship. So I think it's just important for that.
Your mixtape, Schizo, is really, really dope.
Thank you.
Shout out to D Brooks, right? That's the producer?
D Brooks exclusive.
D Brooks exclusive.
Yeah. That's my boy. That's my brother.
I really like the song Bad Habit. That shit is fresh.
Thank you.
But the song Dreamer Part 2, it gets really deep. And you talk about being in a hospital, surrounded by doctors and hooked up to machines. Do you mind going into that story for us and telling us what inspired that lyric?
To be honest, when I did Schizo, it was a while ago. And I was really like poetic and really like envisioning like things in real life. So the whole concept of Schizo was, I felt like I was going crazy. Like, and that's not, you gotta be tread lightly with that word, because it's like a real thing. But in my mind, I felt like, what was the way that I can express how I'm feeling in my head? And I felt like I was just, one day I was up, one day I was down, one day I was in love, one day I hated that nigga. Like, it was just so many different emotions. I felt like I was going crazy. So I think when I was making Schizo, like even if you listen to the project before that, I had like skits on there where it was like I was in the doctor's room. So it wasn't like I was really in the doctor's room. It was more my imagination. And I was just kind of diagnosing myself. But Dreamer was a real story about like what I was going through, just coming up in the hood, seeing my grandma pass away, seeing like friends leave and guys leave and still like being played on the radio. Like that was just like a real moment for me. And I just tried to make it like a movie.
It definitely was cinematic.
Yeah. I wasn't really in the hospital though.
Okay, so you was
And I don't really have schizo. It was just like
creating a story,
it
creating
was a
characters.
theme. It was a theme. Keeping it on theme.
The first time a lot of people heard of you was on Chiraq, the beat that you was rhyming on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that, so I want to shout out Kay Valentine, an artist that I worked with and put out her album. The first time I ever heard of her was also, she had rhymed on that beat.
The same beat?
Same beat. What I noticed when that beat came out, I feel like, and you could correct me if I'm wrong because you're from the city, I feel like something about that beat, it ignited a fire in the rappers in Chicago. Like everybody made their own version.
Yeah.
Some people was bigging up their hoods. Some people was talking about how we got to stop the shooting.
Yeah.
Some people was talking about, just bigging up Chicago. Like, what do you think it was about that moment with that song?
Well, for me, what I'm learning too, like back then, I was just so ready for the world. Like I was just so ready to dive into anything. And I feel like you get the biggest success when you just do it. And I think I'm just now getting back to that point in my life where I'm like not overthinking it, just do it. And at that time, Nicki Minaj, of course, like the biggest female rapper in the game, she touched on Chiraq, and I'm like, hold on, like y'all can't like do a Chiraq song and I not touch this beat. And I remember the night it dropped, I wrote to that song. I think it dropped at midnight. I finished writing to that song at like 2, 3 a.m. Like a couple hours afterwards. I woke up the next morning, I'm like, Brooks, I'm finna lay this. And I laid it, and it just, that song changed my life. And I think it was just the moment of it. Like, it was so much energy in the city. It was like Nicki really had put the light on Chicago, especially Herbo too, because he was doing his thing already. But it was like next level. So when I rode that wave, it went crazy. I had the whole city coming out to the video shoots, especially when another female touched it with Nicki. Like, it was just like the same type of energy, I feel like. And then I'm really from Chicago, so I'm just like, Nicki, let me show you how I'm gonna come on this. Yeah, so, and it went crazy for me. I got a deal off that. The whole city supported me, and like, it was just dope.
Common supported you.
Yes.
On that. That's a good friend of mine, one of my best friends in this business. And then you got to work with him, not just on your project, but on his project, on Nobody's Smiling.
Shout out to Common.
Shout out to Common, Snow Allegra. How did that happen? How did you link up with him after he made that tweet?
Man, he tweeted me, and then he was just like, I want you to come to downtown, his hotel. And I was like, I would love to come to the hotel. And I remember, it was just so surreal for me because Common is like a legend in Chicago. He a legend, period. But for me, I was just like, it was just confirmation, like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Like, everything kept going up for me. And then I went downtown and I met with him. And I remember him pulling out his phone, like, what you think about this? And he was just rapping to me. And I'm like, he really asking me what I think about his raps. Like, let's go. And then, so I was just so excited. And when he told me to come to the studio, I think it was No ID.
Shout out to No ID.
So when I went to the studio, I just knew, like, girl, you better black out. Like, and that's what I did. I love my verse on that project.
It's a great verse.
It's kind of, I wish we would have shot the video too. It's kind of slept on, but
it's a great verse.
Common did something great for the city with that.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and I think he had Herb on there, King Louis, like in the packaging and everything. That was really like a big moment for me. My first time on an album, I think, like an official album.
Yeah, he was tapping in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like he was coming home on that album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
As a woman who's considered a strong lyricist in the game of rap, how do you feel about women always having to prove that they write their own raps, and why do you think that that's the go-to insult among other women rappers?
I don't know, because guys don't do that. Like, I don't think guys be like, you don't write your lyrics. I don't think they do that. I think it's so much pressure on female rap because the door was like barely open for us for a long time that you had to really like, if you gonna come in, it's almost like rap was almost like a masculine sport, you know? So it's like, when they let females in the door, it's like, you gotta really come with it if you're gonna stand next to these guys. And I think they put so much pressure on just bars and stuff like, are you really good enough to hang? And now I feel like the door is way more open where you don't even have to prove yourself lyrically like that, but you do get a certain type of respect if you write your own lyrics. To me, it really don't matter anymore. Like, I used to be so like, you didn't write your, but now it don't matter. Like, if you make a hit, it's all about feeding your family to me. Like, I feel like we shouldn't be competing with each other in the rap culture. Like, it's all about getting the bag and what you do with it. Like, what's your message? Like, what are you gonna do with it when you're done? Like, that's what I care more about. Like, who cares who writing your lyrics, right?
what else I love about the state of women in the rap game is now that there's so many, you can have some of everything. Because you have your conscious woman rappers, you have your rappers that's rapping about a Birkin, you have your rappers that's rapping about love. Like, it's like, we now have it like, I can listen to everything that you would get in the men's side, but from a woman.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because in comedy, we also deal with that. Like, because it's also a masculine, job. And if you are dating a male comedian and you have good jokes, and like, oh, well, he wrote those jokes for her. But if it's the other way around, they're not going to assume that she's writing those jokes for him.
Right.
When a lot of times they are. But,
They be hating. They just be trying to give us a hard time. But, I mean, it's all a sport. I love the sport, so I'm just competitive with it anyway. So it's like I always try to keep my pen sharp. Just because I feel like I get a certain amount of respect for that. But at the end of the day, if you got to hit, you got to hit. You're going to go up.
Well, I love the way that you stay competitive with the pen and with the music. I feel like the female rappers, a lot of times in this business, the business is designed to try to get female rappers to be pitted against each other. And you stay out of that.
Yeah.
And it's really dope.
Thank you.
And you and like you're competitive and you talk your shit, but you still big up and work with all types of female artists.
Because I like the energy for real. I love seeing up and coming females, like, and I could tell which one is like, oh, you got it. Like, you got something special. And I listen, I'm so crazy. I be calling myself like a sophisticated ratchet.
That's me too,
because
girl.
I will turn on some Jhené Aiko and then I'll switch to Future real quick. Like right now I'm really like rocking with Boston Richie. And my friends be coming around like, what is going on? It's like, man, I just like to get ratchet sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, man.
got to.
Sometimes you got
It's a balance. You can have both.
Yeah, it's like, you gotta have both.
One of my favorite songs that you have, I think, is a gem in your catalog is Spar.
Thank you.
With Black and Kodak. And that's how you say his name, right? Black?
Yeah.
Right, because it's spelled with the 6.
It's so crazy. I went on tour with Black, like, a couple years back, and I remember my DJ came out on stage and he was like, y'all ready for 6 Black? And after that, I swear to God, Black dropped a whole merch line saying it's Black, not 6 Black. And like, I tell my DJ, I tell him all the time, like, you the reason why he did that merch line, right? And he'll never live it down. Like,
That's hilarious.
So like,
that's an artist that I want to get more familiar with. Every time, he's the type of artist where I hear a song and I'm like, yo, who the fuck is that? And I'll Shazam it or something, and it's like, it's him. I was just in South Africa. Jared, and they was playing like a trap version of Umi Says.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, who the fuck is this? I Shazammed it, and it's Black. And it was amazing.
he's super dope.
That song starts with like, it's your own people will laugh when you're on some positive shit. Kodak Black talking about he liked the depth of the song. The hook, the word is bond as fuck, my life is hard enough. They're not rewarding us, they disregarding us. If I go to DC, I'm trying to spar with Trump. That shit is hard.
Yeah.
Your bars is hard. If I tell people where I'm from, they might think that I got a gun. Your bars is hard.
Thank you.
Can you take us behind the creation of that record?
Man, I was just talking to my team, and they had the idea. Honestly, Joey IE. Shout out to Joey.
Oh, Joey IE was involved in this.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Oh, that's an old school name from back in the days.
That's my boy. I just talked to him right before this
Shout out to
interview.
Joey IE.
Yeah, big dog. But he was just telling me, like, you know, I really think you should just express yourself to the fullest, like, from a female point of view about what's going on in the world. And he just thought it would be so dope to have 3 different perspectives. And I didn't even know it was gonna go that crazy. But that song went up, and it do make sense because you got 3 different perspectives. Like, you got the street nigga, you got like the R&B, and then you got a female point of view, and we all stating facts. Like, we on there like really talking that talk. So I think it just opened the ears for like different types of people in our generation, our genre, like our age group. Like, they was able to listen to it without it feeling corny, you know what I'm saying? Especially what Kodak did, I feel like he snapped.
Yeah, Kodak Black, as an artist, he's such an incredible artist. And he's a young man that has gone through so many trials and tribulations.
And I really feel like he's a real poet.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So I'm gonna just be honest with you. For me, like, there's a generational gap, and there's with us, right? There's like, I come from a different era of hip hop than you do. Like, you could appreciate where I'm coming from. I could appreciate where you coming from. But Kodak Black is the type of artist that someone coming from where I'm coming from, it's hard for me to appreciate him. When I first heard him, when he first came out, the way he sound, the way everything about him, I'm like, it was foreign to me. And I didn't really, I like some of his songs, because I'm a DJ. I play some of the songs. I like some of the singles, but I wasn't out here like bumping his shit like that. And, you know, it took me to hear what Kendrick did with him on the Mr. Morale.
Really?
Yeah. It took me to really appreciate, to make me feel like I've been sleeping on this dude. Now, I'm not gonna lie, people know my politic. I'm not with the Trump shit. And you know, that record, y'all are critical of Trump on that record. But Kodak Black also, he's, like I said, he's been through trials and tribulations. I ain't never been in a situation where I was in jail and I needed to get out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't judge that young man for his relationship with Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The same way I could judge some other people. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the only relationships I understand.
You know what I'm saying? So
I know, I think everybody giving Kodak a pass for that.
yeah, you know, he been through some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I'm stating here is my bias. I relate to Kendrick from day one. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's younger than me, I relate to him from day one. When I heard how Kendrick utilized Kodak Black, it made me hear Kodak Black in a different way. It made me go revisit some of the Kodak Black songs that I liked.
And that's good, and that's like even with Spar, that's what I'm saying. Like you probably would have became more of a fan with Kodak with Spar. He's so versatile.
Yeah,
you know?
I hadn't heard that record until recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard that record when I was researching you.
Yeah.
I wasn't, when you put that out, I didn't hear that when it was out.
Yeah, but the fact that made me have so much more respect for Kodak. Before Kendrick, I think Kendrick just realized it too. Like he a gem in the culture for real. Like we gotta protect Kodak at all costs. But I think he just came in the game with the energy, and I feel like me and my best friend, we used to sing like "I Smoke Broccoli," like that song. Like
right, that's the record that I first liked from him.
Kodak is the epitome of a Florida nigga, and if you lived in Florida, you understand Kodak Black. Shout out to Florida.
Yeah, and the fact that he's like switching it up, and that every time he's still like raising the bar with these new songs, like he's still going. I'm just like, yeah, you're a real gem. Like, you really talented. So he surprised me too sometimes. Every time he dropped, he surprised me. So it's like, shout out to Kodak. He definitely get his flowers from me.
Today, rappers alternate between rapping and singing. You already talked about that you were singing in high school and playing different instruments. Where do you feel most comfortable as a musician?
I think I'm learning to embrace it all. Like, I think I have so many, like I dead ass be hearing voices in my head. Like, when I wake up, I hear bars, I hear melodies. Sometimes I gotta pull out my phone and just record on my voice memo, like, I heard this. And I've made a lot of songs like that with no beat, like just me writing poetry. And then I'll go to Brooks and be like, can you build a beat around this? The whole Schizo was almost made like that, like just me coming with poems. So like, I'm at the point now where when I record, even if it don't sound good for me, it sound good for somebody else. Like, I think just my gift is just writing, period. Like, and it depends on what mood I'm in. Like, sometimes I just want to go in and sing my heart out. Sometimes I want to bar these niggas up. Like, it just depends on how I'm feeling. So now I just let it out, because people used to make me feel like, are you a rapper or a singer? You need to pick one. Like, I like your rapping more, I like your singing more. Now I'm just like, nah, I got to get all this shit out of me.
Right, it's all of you.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like that. No limitations. You got this song, Wasted. I feel like this is such an important song for men to hear.
Yeah.
I feel like every dude needs to listen to this song. You fuck me drunk, the next day ask for feedback. That's some shit niggas be doing. And then later you say, I like you sober. Can you break down why you felt the need to make this song?
Man, our generation on liquor real bad right now. Like, and even before that, like, just growing up in my household, I seen certain stuff from like my stepdad and you know, and I think a lot of guys, whether it's liquor or lean, you know, you be trying to just connect with a guy and they not even there. Like, they not mentally there, but they there like sexually. And then I think that song I just wanted to let that out. Like, I like you sober. Like, a lot of guys don't even feel as confident when they sober, and it's like, I'm the type that I love that, and I like bringing out the real out of guys. So I think that was just a song just talking about that, you know? And I've dealt with relationships that was like that also, so.
Well, I think it was important for you to share that. You know, it's like, yeah, I feel like dudes need to hear that. Young dudes
Yeah, you know, niggas be trying to call you all late and stuff after they leaving the club, breath smelling like who knows?
Can't
You
keep
know what
it
I'm
up.
saying? And you probably 1 out of the 10 people they call, and it's just like, somebody got to address this shit.
Somebody.
On Big Dreezy, you were definitely talking your shit, but you singing a lot.
Yeah.
Showing out is such
Mind you, sorry to cut you off,
Okay.
but Big Dreezy dropped in 2017, almost 2016. Just want to put that out there. Big Dreezy.
Big Dreezy.
Just letting you know.
I hope whoever caught that message.
No, and it's not for nobody specific. It's really for everybody that's like people don't give props when it's due. Like I was way ahead of my time when I dropped that. It was no female in the game that was coming with that masculine energy. Like I'm not Lil this, I'm not Miss this, I'm not Lady this, I'm Big Dreezy.
Yes.
Like it was really towards niggas, but I just feel like people didn't. A lot of stuff that I do go over people's head because I don't pop my shit for real and I don't put a date on it. Like when I was the first female with a big anything chain. You know what I'm saying? And it's now it don't matter because it's like I could steady reinvent myself, but that's just for people that just feel like I'm copying or anything. It's like y'all got to put some respect and do your research on who's really like setting trends.
And you just said a big thing. You can reinvent yourself because when you're a trendsetter, it doesn't matter what they
y'all
steal.
can have it. I'm gonna go to another way. Y'all
Right.
gonna see where I'm going with it next. But
Right.
it's like just know who did it first.
Okay.
That's
so
all.
so like I was
Soulja Boy
saying,
voice.
on Big Dreezy, you was talking your shit.
Period.
Which you continue to.
Thank you.
Showing Out is a gorgeous record.
Yes.
That's a really sexy record.
Thank you.
Chanel Slides, that went all the way up with Cash Doll.
Yeah.
I DJ'd a party in Detroit. And this is how I learned to read my audience better because I like Cash Doll music a lot.
I love Cash Doll.
And I was like, but you know, the party I was DJing, it wasn't the Cash Doll Detroit. It was a Jay Dilla type of Slum Village Detroit. And I played this Cash Doll record, and this guy came from the back of the party all the way to the front of the club. And he's like, "What you doing?" And I knew, I was like, okay, maybe this record don't fit in the set, but I was already committed to it.
Yeah.
Had to keep it
You know what I'm
going.
saying? So I just made it into a bit. I just grabbed the mic. I was like, what, you not gonna represent for Cash Doll in Detroit? How am I gonna come to Detroit? I'm gonna play female rappers from Detroit, and y'all not gonna represent.
Right.
And I made the whole bit around why I needed to play this record.
Right.
So shout out to Cash Doll.
Shout out to Cash Doll. And she murders every record she touch.
Yes.
Like
She dope.
Facts.
First of all, Beats, that was a great movie. I watched it a couple
Thank you.
times. Shout out to Anthony Anderson, who's been on the show. Shout out my homie, Megan Sousa. You also worked with Chris Robinson, Uzo Aduba, and Paul Walter Hauser. You played Queen Cabrini. Can you take us through that process?
Man, that was like my first real introduction into the acting world. It was hard for me. Like
Really?
just working with somebody as talented and respected as Chris Robinson, like I felt like
It's a legend.
Super legend. And I just felt like it was just so much pressure on me working with him because I wanted to make it be right. They had me, like the songs on there, I wrote the songs, I recorded the songs like the day before that I needed to memorize it.
Wow.
And I had to memorize my acting lines, and it was my first time acting. So it was just so much pressure on me. And I feel like he's so, like, he been in the game for so long that maybe he didn't have enough patience with me. But I appreciate like the tough love because it just taught me like, all right, you think that you could just hop into somebody else's lane, like an acting lane, and
That's
just
real.
do your thing. And it's like, nah, you gotta practice and you gotta work, and it's not easy. Acting is not easy. So shout out to all the actors out there.
And there was some great, I mean, you know, Dave East, shout out to Dave East, but I mean, that cast was amazing.
Yeah, but you know, I want to give a shout out to Davies too, but I want to give a special shout out to Anthony Anderson because he made me feel so comfortable on
amazing.
set. Like every time I was feeling nervous, like I was finna break down anything, he was just like, take a deep breath. He like, just act like you having a normal conversation. You see how we talking right now? Go out there and do the same thing. And he made it feel just so comfortable for me. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite people.
Same.
He came into this show early in when we first started this show.
And he hood, like he was playing
he
spades
from
in the back.
Compton.
We was playing
Anthony
spades
is
together.
He from Compton for real.
Yeah, like he was so cool.
He went to
was
he went to
He went to Howard.
and all
Yes,
that.
my grandmother taught him.
And we was in a hood in Chicago. He was getting his ribs delivered. Like,
Well, you know, he got experience from them barbershop movies.
yeah. And they treat him like a king anyway.
He is
but
a
just for
king.
him to be so down to earth and cool is just like refreshing.
Shout out to Anthony Anderson, but also shout out to Chris Robinson, who directed an episode of Mixish when I was standing in and recognized me and said he wanted to be on the show. And I still have his number in my phone. I don't know why I haven't
we need to get
utilized
Chris Robinson on this show.
Yeah,
We need to tell Chris.
I'm gonna do that.
I love him, and I'm sorry that I kept messing up my lines. Forgive me, and
We're going to
please
bring
put
Chris
me in another
Robinson and
movie.
ask him about that.
Yeah, put me in another movie. Don't be like that.
I love it. Can't Trust the Soul with PnB Rock, rest in peace. Can you talk about that song and his legacy to the game?
Man, PnB was just a rare spirit. He's such a laid back guy. And just, even though, like, I feel like towards, like, the end of his journey, and it's not the end, it's gonna forever continue, I feel like we wasn't as close as we used to be, like, because, you know, he was just living his life. He got kids now and his girl. But I just felt like, I really felt for him, just seeing how he was just trying to get so much love and change his life around for his lady and his family. So I just always have, like, a genuine love for that. But he also get on these tracks and just
Murders.
Go crazy, you know? Like, so even with that song, I feel like we killed it. And it just says a lot, even when I was just listening back to it. Like, you really can't trust the soul. Like, you could go to a restaurant and anything can happen. So it's just like, it was a full circle moment for me. But shout out to him and his legacy.
Yeah, rest
his
in peace.
family.
Yeah,
Rest in
rest in
peace, for
peace.
sure. And he changed a lot of people's lives, too. Like, I felt like he was just in the hood. Like, I personally, Asian Doll, like my little sister. I saw him, like, reach out to, like, Asian Doll and just different people in the New York hood. He kind of introduced me to that scene, and he brought, like, melodic to the street, even though, like, we had people doing it, but I just felt like he really embodied that. So that was just rare.
And that was such a beautiful message that his girlfriend wrote afterwards and telling everyone all the things that he was doing to change his life around. And I thought that was very special.
Yeah, and I hate that they put so much pressure on her and gave her so much backlash. Like, you can't, even if she did, like, I feel like a lot of people was trying to blame her, like, why would you post? It's like, why are you not blaming the people? Why can't you post food nowadays? Like, we gotta look at—
It's victim blaming.
We gotta look at the world now.
Yeah.
Like, dang, y'all bashing her for posting her food out with her boyfriend. Like, she
Enjoying
probably was happy
herself.
to be there with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it is a different world, and I do understand, like, he's in a different type of culture, so you gotta be careful. But it's like, we gotta stop. We need to educate and just stop trying to be so quick to just tear people down. It's like, she probably going through so much. So
Of course, praying
shout
for her
out to her.
too.
I hope, like, she getting everything she needs to stay strong.
Yeah.
Right.
You were on Interscope. I was on Interscope for a second. You left and you felt stifled by the label politics at Interscope, right?
By label politics, period, but not Interscope per se. Like, as I'm getting older and looking back on my situation, we both could take, like, blame on both of our ends of what could have done better, but I think Interscope actually, like, really cared about me.
Okay.
But I don't like labels. I don't like how they treat artists, just after that. Like, I feel like I was lucky enough to have somebody like Joey who was looking out for me and just really cared about my craft. My biggest thing was I didn't have a manager. So, like, the whole time I was at Interscope, even Joey was telling me, like, I got you, but I'm not going to be able to be hands-on with you every single day. And I understood that. And I think also for me, like, coming out of Chicago, like, I think I was kind of one of the first females to really get signed after Nicki Minaj. You know, it was me, and I think Cardi B was shortly after, or Dej was, and other than that, we didn't really have no examples on how to do it, and I was so, like, not hood, but I was just so, like, I was coming to label meetings with my bonnet on, like, I was, like, too real, and I didn't know that they was trying to, like, transfer me over to be a star. It didn't correlate with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain stuff that I had to do, I didn't feel like doing it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't see why I had to do it. I just wanted to make music. Like, even when I first got my first plaque, I remember I was in the studio and Kelly Rowland gave me my first plaque. Shout out to her. She gave me my first diamond bracelet, everything. I love Kelly. Everybody was just so excited, and I was just like, oh my God. Thank you. I'm finna go back to recording. Like, you know,
That's
so
good.
I didn't never take in those moments and really realize, like, damn, Drees, you, like,
Enjoying the
making
process.
history right now. Like, you killing it. But also, I was going through so much, like, even when my best friend had passed. I remember, like, the week that Body started charting, my best friend passed. And I remember the label like texting me like, hey Drees, like I know you going through a lot, but can you please promote your song? Like, and that was like the weird, I never forget that, you know?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, so it was just a lot that I was going through real life and trying to be a star at the same time. And it wasn't easy, so.
It's good for you to have the self-reflection, but I think it's also good for you to, in those moments, not allow any label to dictate how you have to spend your time. You know, and I think that's the gift and the curse of an artist, right? Because we can decide how we want to spend our time, but we can also decide how we want to spend our time.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think at the time they just wanted what was best for me, and also they was investing a lot into me, but life just happens, and I didn't know how to deal with it at the time, and I think that kind of threw me off a little bit, like even with my whole, because I was going, I'm still getting back on track now, like I still haven't really gotten to grieve because I just learned to keep going. I just keep going, and at that time that put like me at a standstill, like. I really didn't understand what I was doing no more. So, and they saw it. Everybody else saw the vision for me, but I didn't see it.
Well, you came back with this project with Hit Boy. Hit Girl's an amazing project. The fact that he is the type of producer that prefers to work on a whole project. I think the timing was right for y'all to link up. How did y'all link up?
I had finally found a manager.
Okay.
Sal & Co. I'm at Sal & Co. currently. And I was playing him my music, and they was like, we love the music. We just feel like it's not cohesive. We need you to get it cohesive. And I realized, and I'm like, y'all right. Well, because all I do is jump from studio to studio, producer to producer, like now that I'm not at a label. Because when you at a label, it's more like they got a set like sound and like producers that come for sessions and stuff. But when I went independent, I was just like, all right, I'm finna just start making music with everybody I know. So when I gave them the project, I'm like, all right, I just been working with random producers and just putting all these songs together and thinking it's gonna be a good project. So when they said be cohesive, they was like, just pick one producer that you want to like do majority of the project or something. And I made a list of names, and Hit Boy was the first person to respond, and he was with it. He was like, I'm ready to do it like now.
Yeah, he be with it.
Yeah, so I'm like, I just went with the energy.
That's good. He's such an amazing, prolific producer, and he sounds like he definitely has his, his signature sound, but he can morph. He gives people what I think they need. So far, what I've heard with the project he's done.
Yeah. I just want to say, well, your album gave me all the feels, and I already told you I sent my new boo 21 Questions. I was like,
Yeah, 21 Questions is special. That's another song that I wrote poetically, and then we did the beat around it. But I had written that already when I came to him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I love the project. It was definitely an experience, a dope experience. I learned a lot from Hit Boy. I think he learned a lot from me. And we put it out there. We just to see what's gonna happen.
I saw an interview with you that was strange to me, and it made me think of just things that I don't have to go through as a male doing music. And in this interview, this person was asking you about your dating habits and what kind of guy you like, and
which one? I had so many interviews like that.
That's what I'm saying. I can imagine it's like, but this one, it was like, what's your dating habits? What kind of guys you like? Then he started talking to you about his girlfriend that used to be from Chicago and why do Chicago females act a certain way. And then he started asking you about whether or not you would go on vacation and do you check your DMs? And I'm like, this dude is really trying to shoot a shot in an interview. But also while, and I don't know this dude, maybe he's gonna get mad at me if he sees it, I don't know. But the way in which the interview was going, it was like, I felt like it was almost 20 minutes of that. And so I wanted to ask you, you kind of answered it already, like how often as a woman do you go through that where you're here as an artist, but it's about who you're dating or whether or not you're single, all this type of stuff that really at the end of the day, in my opinion, don't have anything to do with the music?
I don't feel I don't feel too much of a way about it because I know nowadays, like with interviews, they want to get to know you more than the music and find out what you got going on. And, you know, everybody nosy these days. Like, that's what get them.
But I mean, I've done interviews my whole career, and ain't nobody asked me who I'm dating or what I like and none of that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel kind of, maybe they should ask. I have feelings too. I like things that I want to talk about.
Look, I'm going to ask you, at the end of the interview, maybe I'll ask you.
Okay.
But
He's not gonna answer. I don't know why he even. He's not gonna answer.
But I don't take it too much any type of way, because maybe that I think, yeah, like you said, they probably trying to figure out, like, what is your type, Drees? Am I your type? You know? I don't feel no type of way about it.
I think it's a little bit of both. Well, number one, it is more so women that people, oh, who are you dating? Or da-da-da. But I also think that when people are interested in you, they want to get to know you. Because me as a fan, I love that now, like, we can kind of feel like we're friends with our idols or our favorite rappers. I'm not the crazy one that's gonna talk to them sideways because, you know, they expose themselves. But I absolutely love that celebrities expose themselves, and when I feel like, you know, oh, they're human, or oh, they're going through something that I'm gonna go through, or oh, they're dealing with relationship stuff as well. And also, I do also feel like when you are in a high profile relationship, or you are in a relationship that people want to talk about, it only can help you, because they're gonna go and they're gonna look at you in the blogs and stuff, and then they're like, oh, I wanna go listen to their music too.
Okay, I have some thoughts about this because I've been in high profile relationships. One.
That's a flex.
Right. Listen,
Try to slide that in there.
Little sprinkle dinkle right there.
Hey, I'm not the only one here who's been in high profile relationships. But for me, having a public relationship, I won't say it's a mistake, but I wouldn't do it again.
It can harm you.
Yeah, I've learned it was like...
I think it's a difference between having a public relationship and having public conversations about what you like in relationships. You know, like, I can share what I like, and sometimes I think it's even better to share what you like, because then you attract what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might say, and also, like, too, like you said, like, I'm a fan of certain people, like Rihanna. I'm a fan of Rihanna. If Rihanna was to come out and be like, I like guys that's like this, and it's the same as me, it's like, oh, girl, me too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it make your fans feel like, oh, like, I see you like me. You know, and it make them like you more and stuff like that, even though who cares about being liked? But just nowadays, people just so nosy. Any way that you could connect to your fan base, like, you don't want to seem like a robot.
If it's comfortable for you and you enjoy doing it.
Only
Everybody has their own lane.
I
am private with my relationships. I will say that.
Yeah, I think what I'm responding to and what I'm speaking on is my own shit. Is just where I'm at as an artist in transition from being somebody who was very competitive, wanted to be in the industry, wanted to be on the charts, want to go to all the clubs. You know what I'm saying? I did all that. And now I'm like, I don't want to do a lot of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's more of like things that are going on in my head about, I want to keep some of this shit private.
But you've been through that already.
Right,
So other people have to go through it as well.
If I didn't do it, I wouldn't feel
know that you didn't like it.
And some people love it. Some people love the attention. They love. Some people, like, you got people that's like, I want to keep this to myself because it's sacred to me. I don't want nobody to mess. And then you got people that's like, I want to show the world about you. I want to tell the world about you just so they could get jealous in my future voice. Right. And sometimes I want to be like that too. Like, I'm the type that I like to love out loud, but just in the generation we in right now, I probably wouldn't either.
Right.
Like,
now you work with Jeremiah a lot, right?
Yeah, that's my brother.
He's such an amazing artist, represents Chicago. Y'all got amazing records together. Ecstasy, Body, and Touch. And Touch is my shit.
Yes.
There's not enough male-female groups out there. Have you ever thought about doing a group situation?
That's very... Has that ever happened?
Ashford and Simpson?
Ashley
Cephas,
Simpson, you said?
Yeah. Cephas and Reese from Living Color?
Talib, what is wrong with him?
I don't think that's ever been done before, but...
Y'all should do that.
Yeah,
and he's good at collabs too. He's good working with other artists. Like, I feel like he shines when he's collabing.
I think if I was gonna be in a group, I would have started off like that. But now I'm
do an
just
album
like,
together,
I like my space in my studio space, but I love to collab with different people
project.
and see where I could take it.
Do a project, a quick one-off.
Maybe we could do a project together.
Look at what Method Man and Redman did. They did a quick project, and now it's like very lucrative for them. Whenever they want, they could just be Method Red.
Yeah.
Whole movie, TV show. goddamn cereal came out of this shit.
Yeah.
Did they have method red cereal? I don't know.
I don't know, but I probably wouldn't eat it. Finally, what's next for Big Dreezy?
Man, what's
Big,
next?
that's Big Dreezy.
I said Big Dreezy.
Big Dreezy.
I just want
Should
to
I have said
emphasize
Big
the
Dreezy
big
instead of
part.
Big Dreezy?
Big
Big
Dreezy.
Dreezy.
Big Dreezy. What's next for Big Dreezy?
Man, what's next for me right now? I'm independent. So this is my first time like actually literally being independent and putting out music. I just dropped a new freestyle yesterday to Glorilla Blessed.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I want to hear that.
Check it out. It's just some real raw rap. And I really love Glorilla. Like her music get me so turned. That's what I'm saying. It's stuff like that where it's like you ain't gotta be the most lyrical, but you hitting my soul. Like
Listen,
it's like
she know how to
street
speak
gospel.
to you.
Right.
I love street gospel. But I got my True Religion collection. I'm doing a collection with True Religion.
dope.
Yeah, I'm really, really proud of that. You know,
that's dope.
coming from Chicago, like if you had a pair of True Religions, like you was the
I remember.
one. So like
It was like that in New York for a second too.
yeah, I think everybody in the culture know like what True Religion is. So it's such a respected brand. I'm honored for them to even like let me be a part of this. So that's coming. Y'all invited to the launch.
Okay.
I designed all the pieces with my homegirl.
Yay.
And it's very special. And it's dedicated to my best friend that passed, Gabby Curtis. It's called the Diamond Collection. I got it tatted on me. All my real friends got this diamond tatted on them.
So if I go get a diamond, are we real friends?
Yeah. And before my I got both like this Gabby G. name and I got Curtis' name on here. And right before Curtis passed, right when Gabby passed, he was just like, diamonds last forever. Like, don't ever forget that. Like, pressure make diamonds. All this stuff gonna make you shine even harder. Like, your friends always gonna be there. And when he passed away, I'm like, you know what? I'm naming my fan base the Diamonds. Like, it's just, it's so special to me, and I feel like it's always gonna last. It's just so much that I can say about diamonds that's special to me. So this is called the Diamond Collection with True Religion, and it's my first collection I'm putting out. So
Congratulations.
I'm proud of that.
Well, yes, clap it up for that. I feel like we're drink champs now. We're clapping for shit.
Let's go.
She
Except
gave a
we
lot
ain't
of
got no
clap-worthy
shot.
things.
But they got no shots. We'll do shots later. Us here at People's Party, we are now part of your Diamond crew.
Let's go.
Yay.
You're
Is
such
y'all
a
getting
gem.
this diamond tatted?
Yeah, sure.
Nah, you're not gonna.
And if
I'ma
you
get
need
y'all
me
some
to
pillow
model in
tattoos.
these,
We need some
I'm getting
henna-
a diamond
henna
tat.
diamond
and,
tattoos.
and then I'm
It look
telling
like
everybody
this
we
is the
real
tricky
friends.
tattoo. I
No
got like
doubt.
5 homegirls with this tat.
Yeah.
Like,
No
we
doubt.
really stamped in.
But we in the Diamond Army.
Let's go.
The People's Party is proud to have Big Dreezy in the place to be. Thank you for coming through.
Big dreams.